Let me say something that might bother a few Connecticut homeowners. If you're pricing your house based on what homes were selling for in 2022, there's a good chance you're about to leave money on the table in 2026. And I know that sounds backwards. Most people think overpricing protects them. But in today's market, overpricing can actually cost you thousands of dollars. So today, I want to break down why the 2022 market was different, what changed, and how smart sellers price their homes in today's market. If you're thinking about selling in Connecticut, this is something you need to understand before you list. Let's rewind for a second. The housing market in 2022 was not normal. Interest rates were sitting around 3%. That means buyers could afford a lot more house. For example, a buyer who could afford a $2,000 monthly payment could borrow dramatically more money when rates were low. So what happened? Buyers started competing aggressively. You had situations where homes were selling in days, multiple offers were coming in, people were waiving inspections, and homes were selling tens of thousands over asking. It created this belief that homes should always sell fast and above asking. But that environment was built on one major factor: low interest rates. And once those changed, everything else started changing too. Fast forward to today, in 2026, interest rates are higher. And what that means is simple: buyers can't borrow as much money as they could in 2022. The monthly payment matters more now. So buyers have become more careful and more analytical. They're asking questions again. They're comparing homes again. They're negotiating again. And that's actually healthy for the market. But for sellers who are still thinking in 2022 numbers, it creates a problem because the buyers looking at your home today are operating in a completely different financial environment. Here's the mistake I see all the time. A homeowner says, "My neighbor sold their house in 2022 for 650,000, so mine should sell for 700,000 today." But that logic ignores something critical. Your neighbor's buyer may have been borrowing money at 3%. Your buyer might be borrowing at 6% or 7%. That difference dramatically changes what buyers can afford. So when a home is priced based on outdated market conditions, something predictable happens. The listing hits the market and buyers hesitate. So when a home is overpriced, that damage doesn't happen immediately. At first, the seller thinks, let's just test the market. But buyers are watching. And buyers today are informed. They've seen other homes, other prices, other listings. So when a home sits on the market longer than expected, buyers start asking a different question. Not, is this a good house, but what's wrong with it? And once that perception starts, sellers often end up doing the thing they wanted to avoid in the first place: price reduction. And here's the irony: homes that start overpriced often end up selling for less than they would have if they were priced correctly from the beginning. The first 2 weeks your home is on the market are the most important. That's when your listing gets the most attention. That's when buyers who have been waiting for something new jump in. If your price is attractive, you create competition, and competition creates leverage. But if the price is too high, you lose that momentum. And once the excitement fades, the listing becomes just another listing. That's why smart sellers don't chase the market, they position themselves inside it. The sellers who win in today's market understand three things. First, pricing is a strategy. Second, the buyers in the market determines value. And third, the goal isn't to list high. The goal is to sell strong. When a home is priced correctly, it attracts attention. And then when it attracts attention, guess what? The buyers compete. And when buyers compete, sellers gain leverage again. So if you're thinking about selling your home, the worst thing you can do is price it based on what the market used to be. The smartest thing you can do is understand what the market is today. Because real estate isn't about chasing yesterday's prices. It's about positioning yourself correctly for today's buyers. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk about the Connecticut real estate market, seller strategies, and what's actually happening behind the headlines. And if you're curious about what your home might realistically sell for in today's market, drop your town in the comments. Let's talk about it.